So, welcome back to the main topic, climate change, and to span the whole arch for the series of climate change little instructional videos. I would like to start here, what we just learned about the snowball Earth, to a very different picture. So the extreme heat, we at least as artists put it right now, and what potentially a lot of people think about when they think about climate change, they think about the Earth which is getting too hot. So our history of the Earth has been between those two extremes, and it's very important that you understand how you get from one to the other and what it means if you have snowball Earth conditions or other conditions. It also does not mean that this is the hottest time period on Earth in Earth's history, but you have to understand the physical basics, the development of climate on Earth to be able to really put what is happening right now in a meaningful context. And it was interesting that in the year 2007, the Nobel Peace Prize was jointly awarded to, well, one big organization, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and Al Gore, the former Vice President of the United States. And basically the Nobel Peace Prize Committee at that time put climate change and the challenges human societies are facing when we look at climate change on the spot and try to basically put that on the table even more. And this Ipcc is a very interesting organization, and we talk about it a lot, or whether the climate report has come out. What is usually meant is an Ipcc report. So the Ipcc, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it is basically not a scientific organization. And I think that's the main point which has to be made at the beginning. It's a political organization, or at least it's a political assembly where scientific results are evaluated. So it's based on science, but it's on the interface between science and policy. It has been established by the World Meteorological Organization and by United Nations Environmental Programme to assess, not to do their own scientific studies, but to assess scientific, technical and socio-economical information which are relevant for the understanding of climatic change, its potential impact, and the options for adaptation. So it's not just what is happening physically, how climate is changing, but also what can we do? What are options for adaptation and mitigation? All members of the UN, so all countries of the UN and the World Meteorological Organization can join. And so it's basically a large worldwide assembly of people talking about the problem, climate change, and trying to find solution. It's at least give policymakers a fair basis for their decisions. The Ipcc was established in 1988, and it has 3 working groups. One of them is the physical basis of climate change. That's basically what we are also talking about in this lecture series on climate change. Our instructional videos will mainly deal with the physical basis, which means how has climate evolved over time and what is happening right now. The climate change impacts, adaptations and vulnerability is another working group. We'll deal with this a little bit in our lecture series. And the mitigation, so what do we actually do? How do we as human societies react to climate change is something which one working group of the Ipcc is also dealing with. This is not part of the lecture series. And basically, the main point of the Ipcc is to write these assessment reports. And the next one is planned to be coming out at 2021. And the AR6, it's called. You can already see the webpage. You can already see who's going to be looking at it. There's already the structure and the timeline, etc. Everything is online. And basically, the Ipcc is, I think, one of the premier institutions where you can find a lot of information related to the question of climate change, and it's also something, a source you can trust. And that's something we have to talk about because there is so much out there. If you Google climate change, ipcc.ch is a webpage where you can get information which is scientifically evaluated and which has been put out there. You get a lot of links and it's transparent. There are a lot of web pages out there which tell you all kinds of stuff, and they're very intransparent, and you cannot really understand where they have their information from. That's also something we'll talk about in the upcoming lecture series. But for today, I wanted to just give you the two extremes, the snowball Earth and the overheating Earth we apparently are experiencing today. And with that, I'm done for today.